What is up, Royal Oak, Pleasant Ridge, anywhere in this Oakland County, right off Woodward area? We're in Pleasant Ridge right now. We just finished up this interior refresh with low interiors. Come check it out. We're going to give you a lot of good information on colors, painting, and how to make the most with your budget. Come on in.
Hey you guys, Leslie here with Low Interiors. Welcome.
Guys, this is Leslie. She runs Low Interiors. This is our first project together. And Leslie, tell us about what this project is, who the clients are, and what they were going for in total with this project.
Yeah, so the clients, they are a husband and wife. They are currently pregnant. Well, actually, she just had her baby the other day, literally. It's a husband, wife, two girls, and a dog. And this place, as you can see, it kind of has like the 90s staircase. It was painted all kind of different beige colors. The ceilings were weird sky blue in a lot of different places. So they were looking for a paint refresh. And then most importantly, they were unsure what to do with their kitchen. So I kind of helped them talk through ideas of how to stretch their budget further by not ripping their kitchen out. Instead of talking about it, maybe I could just show you really quick. So
Let's go take a look.
paintbrush to the face. Welcome to the kitchen. I'm gonna stand here so you guys can kind of see. So this kitchen, as you can tell, there are some things that are a little outdated, but they don't look so outdated anymore because they're painted. We have this like old kind of molding, these like cathedral style door fronts, which actually you really can't find anywhere. So my recommendation was to kind of reconfigure the cabinetry and then use paint to kind of help tell the story. And so I don't know if I'm supposed to look at this or
Look at anything.
I'm like,
Look
okay.
at Lyric, too.
I'm like, I want to smell
It's
it.
like an ice cream cone.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. So basically what we did here was there was a lot of cabinetry, and I think you're probably going to pan to a video or a before image, hopefully now. So you can kind of see what we did here is we removed all the cabinetry over here, reconfigured the area over in this area. So this part didn't feel so heavy. And so this is more like a focal point. We added sconces, all new backsplash, countertop. If you want to pan directly behind you to this nice little dry bar area, that's completely new. This was like an outdated kind of like 90s desk situation, which really wouldn't function given you only have this walkway right here. So we made this more functional for them. And actually fun little fact for people. These counter depth built-in fridges are extremely hard to replace. So they had more of like the cabinet, like it had the actual door fronts on there originally. It was 48 inches instead of 36 inches. So this whole spot right here shifted over. Now you can't even really tell because they didn't really need a 48-inch fridge. Those are very expensive when they're built in. And so while this is still an expensive fridge, it saved them money and then allowed them for that space over there. And so the final piece, after we add the rest of the lighting, is the paint. And the paint was huge.
This is the most important part. Listen up.
It actually is when it comes to painting cabinetry. If it's done wrong, it wouldn't look this good. It would chip immediately. Even some, like you would see marks, like something that your team did that was awesome, as all this hardware is actually new hardware. And I think a way to tell if a kitchen's designed or not designed is hardware, lighting, those type of like last minute jewelry pieces, even plumbing, where like before all of this was the 3-inch poles everywhere with knobs, and with paint they were able to caulk, fill, and sand to allow me to get creative with the hardware. And so what you'll see here is not only did we two-tone the kitchen to add some dimension to the space, we two-toned the hardware too. So we have kind of this like ash gray color, and then we have like a gold finish. So it kind of it's showcasing what you can do with the space if you're able to change the colors versus if it was just left this like cherry wood color that was super outdated. We couldn't really do any of this. Like we couldn't recut the trim in certain areas. You know, that also takes a good carpenter too to make things look really nice and perfect. But I don't know if you want to touch on like how you go about doing the paint and making sure that it, you know, looks this good, because it is a skill, and it's worth the cost versus getting, you know, a new kitchen cabinets here could cost you anywhere between $25,000 to $30,000, depending on up and down, depending on what you get. Where this was around, I think, was it like between 6 and 8? If we'd have to look at
Something like that, you know. If she said 10, I would have gone, yeah, great.
Yeah, sure. But even how it depends how detailed you want to get, right? Too. So I don't want to misspeak on the pricing because it was an overall thing, and there was other cabinetry painted, but it is a skill, and you should pay for it versus spending money later touching things up. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I didn't pay her to say that. So take a quick look. This will be a quick plug for us or for any other painter who does it the way we do. This is one of the cabinet doors that we refinished. This was a greasy old garbage door where we degreased it. Probably took 15, 20 minutes degreasing, sanded it really well, 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of top coat. All the products that we use are designed for kitchen cabinets. If you just use any run-of-the-mill latex enamel paint, it will fail. And please, whatever you do, do not buy the products that say you don't have to sand. They're lying to you. You have to sand, you have to clean, you have to prime. Let's get back to Leslie.
It's true. Very true.
Yeah, all right. Anything else that you want to talk about in this kitchen?
You know, I think in this kitchen that's important is that you can see that this kitchen and then this room connects. And so what we did here is make sure that these rooms speak to each other and flow. So if you take a look at this built-in area, it's kind of recessed into the wall. There was another old bulky TV console situation, media cabinet sticking out, looked really bad. And so we removed that. We feathered in new floors because they weren't the cabinetry actually comes out further now, and we kind of created this built-in look without breaking the bank. These are they're probably a semi-custom, and I only say that because the shelving and the countertop are custom made on site, but the cabinetry came quick, and so we needed to become quick, so we got cabinetry that was in stock, and then we did some creative work to make them look more higher end. When that happens, you only get so many colors to choose from, and so we were able to match this with alabaster, and that's where Noah's team came in and kind of color drenched the whole room in alabaster, so it had this nice cohesive feel. And then we also added this molding here, so when you're standing in the kitchen, you have a really nice focal point, and then you're anchored into the fireplace surround, which was also this horrible old wood color, but it was just not consistent with the house. And so instead of getting a whole new mantle, we just used this mantle, which I think is really important. I think a lot of people think you just need to going back to the kitchen, get rid of things, when it was a perfectly good piece to keep. It has really nice details, and it kind of flows with that kind of ornateness of the cathedral style doors over here. So if we were to modernize this, it wouldn't really flow with this. So they needed to speak to each other. And something really important here, and you may not be able to notice it because good design you don't notice. It's very true, right? Not to plug myself or anything, but there are 2 different sheens in here. So anything that is the trim, you got that includes your window casing, your base molding, any decorative molding, and then of course the mantle is in a higher sheen than the walls. So all the walls in here are matte finish, and then anywhere else in this house that you see those type of things I just listed, is going to be a satin finish. And that really helps capture more light. And then you can see the pretty details. They have really nice base molding. So we really want those to shine. So that's an important piece in here. One thing I would know is I think people forget during a renovation is we have old can lights. Those will hopefully in the future be getting replaced. But if the paint job's done well, it should be a quick pop off of the can, and the electrician has to be very careful and then pop back in, and so it's not a huge deal.
That is a PSA for all electricians out there. Please, please, please be careful and clean up after yourself. I know that's a lot to ask for, but hey, that's from your friendly neighborhood painter
And
to you.
GC in this job, I second that. Everyone should clean up after themselves, or I have to do it, and I don't want to do that.
We both have to act as parents for the people that we're not necessarily responsible for. But hey, anything else about this room?
No. We're going to add furniture, window treatments, but another time.
Let's go to the dining room.
Yes. Spirit fingers. Okay, welcome to the dining room.
Wow.
We got ourselves a color drench here. I mentioned the word color drench in the living room. Because you're seeing white, you're probably like, what do you mean a color drench? What we do with a color drench is, like in the other rooms, we paint from all the way to the shoe molding, all the way to the ceiling and around. We bring in the window casing. Something to touch here, we did not paint the actual windows themselves because over time, based on the type of material these windows are, they're going to chip and look cheap. And so therefore we kept them. They're going to look better long term, and really like it blends really nicely with the space. I don't need commentary on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could ask that question.
No, that's a huge thing. What people, the most expensive, let me switch over here. Yeah. The most expensive, that almost got me. This is expensive. The hospital bill will be expensive. The biggest thing, some people, they'll ask about painting costs for certain things, and they won't realize like there's certain items that are just like, it's almost not even worth the conversation. When it comes to painting window casings, pretty easy. Painting window frames and their entire structure, completely different animal. The only way to really do it right is to treat them like cabinets, but you got to take them off. So you're going to have to disassemble your windows, which puts you in a situation where you either don't have windows or you have temporary. You can try to get away. Huge inconvenience. And if you do it the wrong way, it's probably going to ultimately fail. You know, I'm not saying it can't be done. There might be guys that are restoration experts with that, but overall, window painting is actually extremely expensive. It's one of those things that's usually just not worth it.
And it likely will void your warranty on your windows. So.
Very true. That's the same with a lot of anything vinyl or stuff like that. Check the warranty, like a garage door or something. Although I don't think they make vinyl garage doors. But nonetheless.
Fact check later. I don't know.
Fact check later. Leslie, one question that I always have when people ask, what does the color drench effect do to a room when you walk into it?
Yeah, so we're in kind of like that formal dining room. And so I didn't want it to feel super formal, where I picked a lighter blue that's kind of more light, airy, inviting. It coordinates with the living room, but it gives you like that feeling that it's cozy. I feel like this term is overused, a warm hug. But
I haven't heard it.
But it gives you kind of that feeling where it's a gathering spot, and it's a separate room. And so what I mean by that is there's clear transitions between the spaces, which allows you to play with color when there's not a lot of color everywhere else. And so it kind of helps make it its own space while still flowing with the house and giving it personality. So we're going to add a rug, dining table, some drapery, and then this like Art Deco kind of light here is going to be the feature. Maybe add some art. Who knows what they're going to do? But yes, please. This is a very hard light to hang, so it needs its time to shine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great pun, too. Great pun. All right. Well, speaking of warm hugs, I'm going to give my camera guy a warm hug in a second, but let's move over to this front room, living area.
Yeah, I call it front room.
Front room.
So front room living area. Want to call out too, a little note is what a transition means is this space right here. What I like to do is, if it's a dark color like this, keep the color in the room, and then bleed out as you're walking out of it into, like, if you notice here, going into the kitchen, we have a nice white going in there, and then same leading into here. Walk into the room. This room is massive, right? So we can check out the ceilings. The client, when the project was happening, they really wanted this nice, bright, airy look. But when, you're in the middle of construction, there's crap on the grounds, like floor coverings. Make sure your painter uses floor coverings because it's important. Just do it. And it's worth extra costs versus just drop cloths everywhere because you're going to have paint splatter. And again, that's going to be my problem later, is scraping the floor. So thank you, Noah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No big deal.
Thank you so much, you guys. They were a little nervous bringing it back to how the ceilings are so high. It carries up into this upstairs space that it was feeling a little cold. And so we were able to, as a team, kind of, I talked to Noah and team and was like, guys, continue what you're doing. I'm going to work quickly with the client and kind of figure a game plan on how we're going to warm this space up. So actually the dining room was going to be white. That was now a nice blue color that you saw that helped add some warmth. And then we also added this color, like this beige color that was about 5 shades darker than the Greek villa that we used on the walls. I think it's called Natural Choice. What that did is just kind of help anchor the space and we were able to use this molding that was already here. Again, you'll see this molding is a different sheen than the walls, which helps it also, have its moment to shine.
Another great pun.
Yes, thank you. And now, if you want to back up over here to the staircase, I want to talk quickly about staircases and refinishing them, painting them, why you would do it, why you wouldn't. You can see this is massive. There's a lot of different details. The client wasn't loving the color, which I understand it's maybe a little bit outdated, but let's think about everything was beige in here before. I'm sure we either showed a picture or you'll see a picture now. Everything was beige, and so this was feeling really beige. And so what we did is we replaced the gray. Help me out, Noah. What are these?
Carpet?
Tiles? Stair runner. I was going to say stair runner, but they're more like stair treads on the runner because the runner would kind of go all the way up. We replaced these with a pattern to have some visual interest, and then also kind of coordinated with the blue. So when you walk in, you see blue. We haven't gone over to the office yet, but blue. All different shades. Actually, a funny thing, and you might not find this funny, but
let's find out.
So the 2 blues in the dining room and the office, I don't know if you've even noticed this. This one was called
I noticed. I noticed because we freaked out multiple times.
They're the same color, maybe because it's called during the storm. And this
there was
storm cloud.
Yeah.
So
there's storm cloud into the storm, and then rain storm or something like that.
A lot of water storminess. So I don't know if you were feeling that, but it's then the light here is after the storm, and we're feeling great. So what we did here, circling it back to the blue.
Oopsies, I ran out of phone storage, so we deleted some videos, but we're back. Not prepared. And
hey, real time, you have to make. I feel like it's the business of construction.
Hey, that's just the trades, baby. It's changing things every second.
It's color. Got it. Change. That one's
move-in date, other project timelines shrinking in. It's the stress that you get to experience staying in your own home. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Another episode we can talk about that.
Yeah, completely different episode. Different tone to that one.
Yes. So talking about whatever we were calling this topper molding treatment, that actually was the same color as the stairs. And so to kind of divert your eye away from this color, everything is blending, which now I'm looking at, if you want to look at it from this angle, it kind of looks like a smiley face. Do you see those 2 can lights and then the curve?
Oh, yeah.
So
that was intentional too.
Yes, I didn't kind of, it does. So I'm gonna take my shoes off while we head up there. Follow along. so this was carpet before. As you can see, the treads had more of like a decorative pattern, and if we were to carry that up, it could feel a little bit loud, like we're getting into blue territory there. So instead of
So there could be two things that are true. Either I have too much or too many videos on my phone, or my phone is way too old because not only did the storage run out again, but my battery died. So we're back with our cameraman Merrick's phone. Thank you, Merrick and Leslie.
I'm not going to say anything, but time is money.
Time is money, guys. What were we talking about? Blue? Something about blue.
We were going to go to blue if we were to carry the floor pattern of the carpet up to the staircase. If you kind of look in each room, there's almost like an off gray kind like color that was here before. And we don't want anything gray. We didn't want anything blue. It would have been a weird transition. So we added hardwoods to match the hardwoods downstairs. And so it just felt like it was here all along. These are, quick little fun fact for viewers, these are pre-finished hard floors. And if you are going to get pre-finished hard floors, which there's a quicker turnaround time, there's less mess, there's like pros and cons to each. The pre-finished, what we found is a harder time making it completely flat because you're not sanding. A little bit of movement under your feet. I personally like that little bit of movement. I personally like that because it makes it feel like as if it was here the same time as those hardwoods were down there, because that same thing's gonna be down there. And so just a thought, if you're OCD and that's gonna bother you, always sand. Where this, we wanted it to feel as if it was here all along.
I like that.
Thank you. So we're up here, and you'll notice that the color around the whole space is the same. We're getting a little bit of blue shadowing from that bedroom over there, but the reason we did this is so this feels very cohesive. It's one area, it's not choppy.
Well, you know what's funny? You mentioned the blue shadowing. That's actually a great transition to check out a common design / painting problem, which is when lighting plays a role against you. What happened in here?
So what happened in here was this color is all the same color. It's soji white. Before there was a blue ceiling in here, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Not the blue that we're seeing everywhere else. This was like, I don't even know, not a good blue. But the issue that we found in here is that there is a lot of natural light with the window, which is beautiful, great. You can see outside. Clients will kill for natural light. Seriously, kill. I'm not gonna tell about anyone's killings, but so the lighting can impact the way that paint colors can look. Color in general, really. That could be your fabric swatches, anything. And then also the angles that the walls and ceiling can play. So if you want to, I don't know if you already scanned up, but you can see that we're dealing with both here. While these colors are the same, they have a little bit of a difference. There was actually 4 coats of paint on here.
Yes.
To cover, because we were thinking like, maybe the blue is coming through that was there before, and really, it's not. It's the same color. So in this case, we're gonna have different furniture in here. There is gonna be another rug going on it. It's probably picking up a little bit of this like blue-gray carpet, and so it's fine in this case. But that is something to note if you're doing maybe a dark color in here. I would instead in the future do a color cap. So they're intentionally 2 different colors versus fighting, like the colors fighting against, or the one color fighting against itself, against the shadowing and the different light.
Yeah, we've had times like that too where we've tried color matching cabinet frames. One of the cabinets was just slightly pry of the other one, and it was casting a shadow. So when we tried color matching by bringing in samples or even using a color match snap tool from Sherwin, it was getting the right color. The problem was the shadowing was making it look like a slightly different color. So these 2 rails of the frames on these cabinets were just not lining up. And we did like 3 or 4 color matches. And then it actually finally worked. We got something, we tinted it off slightly, but if you were going to try to solve that problem with paint, you'd have to go through who knows how many samples.
Yes. And I mean, it's science. It's really science.
It really is. You can't just like tell them, hey, make it a little bit more. I mean, you can try, but it doesn't necessarily work that way. So don't drive your Sherwin people insane and just come up with a plan like that. That's
another
a better
reason
one.
you should hire a designer.
Boom. That's enough right there. We can just end it there if you wanted to. All right.
Okay.
Where to now? Where
so
we
I
heading?
think we should head down the stairs, check out some of the other little features down there, and then the basement, and get you guys out of here.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, welcome.
To the office. So you'll see here, I believe this was during the storm. I can't remember the exact paint
Into the
color.
storm?
Into the storm. There's a storm happening in here. We didn't decide to color drench this room because, as you can see, there are no overhead lights, and that's something that we opted to not add because that requires multiple trades, and you never know the situation like a painter's gonna walk into after. There could be more labor intensive to kind of clean up if there's any cracking, whatever it goes, putting can lights in. I don't know if you have experienced that when you're coming to a job site and you bid the job not knowing that like the whole scope of work, and then you walk in and you're like, oh, okay, so now I have more work to do. Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, that happens a good amount. It's one of those things that with homeowners, it's not as big of a problem because you can just ask them, is there any other work going on?
Yeah.
And if so, you set the expectation. Hey, other trades might do something, and if it's outside of my scope, it's going to have to be a change order. With builders or designers, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. That statement is still true, but there is kind of a little bit of wiggle where, hey, if there's just a patch or two from a can light being installed, we're not going to charge. But if we show up and there's 8 Swiss cheese holes in the ceiling, we're gonna have to do a change order, and unfortunately, someone's got to pay for that. So the more planning you can do up front is great. And if you can have a kind of a trades day where everyone gets together, sweetness right there.
In an ideal world, that'd be great.
That doesn't really happen often. It's very hard. But yes, in an ideal world.
Yeah. So just touch on this really quick. You see what you see. I wanted just to comment for anyone maybe watching and they're looking for some design recommendations. I would actually paint this just so it everything blends together. Maybe keep the shelves the wood color. I'd play with it because the doors are actually not painted. The reason we didn't paint these is because that would increase the scope and the price, and so we felt like these are in good condition, and so we just kept it as is. And if they end up wanting to change it, they can change that down the road. So if we want to now pop over to the now mudroom. Okay. So it's a little messy, guys. Some painters left their stuff hanging around here. Weird. Yeah. So this used to be a closet. Was nearly not this high. It was one of those just, regular entry closets. We removed the closet, created a mudroom for their family so they have places to store their things like shoes, sit down, whatever it may be. It just made, and it's more visual because they actually have another small closet over here where they can hide stuff. So this is stuff that, you need more on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to squeeze or get you in there. Should we do the...
Guys, I lost Leslie. I don't know where she went, and I'm kind of scared right now, but we're in the half bathroom on the main floor, and the main thing I wanted to show you guys is this is yet another color-drenched room, and it creates, this very comfy, cozy, formal vibe in here. But one thing to note is that we actually kept the cabinets a whiter color. These are yet again cabinets that we refinished, same exact process. So they look great, they feel great, and they're gonna last great. But we kept them bright white so they, kind of a focal point. They stand out in the bathroom, but also they don't just blend in with the dark countertops and the dark rest of the room. All right, I need to find my way out of here because I think I just heard some noises. I'm kind of freaked out.
I think we found her.
Hey guys, I was wondering where you were. Come on down. So this space didn't do, well, we did stuff here, but the design portion wasn't a huge priority down here. So what we wanted to do for the family is there was really old, it wasn't asbestos tile. Is that how you say that word?
Asbestos.
Asbestos tile, but it was a tile that had about a 4-inch mud bed. So ripping that up would have been a real pain, not worth it. We could have laid luxury vinyl plank on it, which we did in some areas, but with the small kids, it was just made more sense to have carpet. So we carpeted down the stairs, did carpet all around this living space. This cool little bar area that was here before would have been strange to have a sink with carpet. I hate those bathrooms that you go to in like old hotels that have carpet on the floor. I'm disgusted.
In the bathroom?
Yes. Have you ever been in one like that?
My grandma's house had that growing up, and it was disgusting. It also had a furry toilet, but I don't think I've had that in a hotel.
Just germs.
What hotels are you staying at?
Cheap ones. I'm on a budget.
Sounds like a Red Roof Inn type experience.
You know, like I like to do road trips, so sometimes it's nice just to get a shower, and I won't complain about the carpet on the floor in the toilet area.
Carpet in the shower.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of carpet. Clearly, I'm not a big fan of carpet. So we transitioned this area into LVP floors just so it makes sense. If you're going to spill anything, there's a sink. Don't put carpet by water. It's just not smart. So, and on top of that, everything here was a little dingy and dark. We brought a light paint color, and that's where the paint comes in. We just did a nice matte alabaster paint. It's dark right now. I need to get light bulbs for these new light fixtures, but it helped brighten everything up, and the clients are happy. So that's really all down here. I'm going to take you guys back upstairs before I kick you out. So you have any other questions for me, Noah?
Man, how about this? If you could redo the project and start over, what would you do differently?
That is a hard question.
She didn't expect that question. That one came right from up here.
What would I, actually, I would have went with my gut instinct in the beginning to add more warmth into the space instead of like running into, I wouldn't even call it an issue, but maybe just like the mid-stop of the project of deciding like, hey, this is feeling a little bit too white. I had wanted to do a darker color in the dining room, do the doors, a little bit of a darker color than the walls, but I went along with what I thought the client would feel more comfortable with. And so it's my job to push the client in the direction that they actually went all along. And so could have saved time and money, but sometimes clients have to learn that and explore it. So that might have been daunting to them to color drench a room, and I think that's just another reason why you hire a designer to do push you in the direction, because like my job is to get in your head and figure out who you are and how you want your space to function. And so I think I just, in the future, I'd push a little harder next time.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I'll do color consults for our painting company where we help clients pick a color. But I'm limited on the knowledge of color, the knowledge of lighting. There's a certain amount of time I can spend in learning that craft. People like Leslie know that much better than I do. But the key thing that she said, which I found true, is you want to get into the head of the client, because a lot of clients just say, oh, whatever's popular, whatever you recommend. And it's like, it's not my home. You spend a certain way. That dining room that's color drenched, it fits certain families, it doesn't fit others. So it all depends on how you spend your time in your home and what kind of environment you're trying to cater and create within your own home.
Yeah.
So with that, in 1 to 3 sentences, if you could summarize the biggest insight or tips for someone that's going to be designing their own space and planning out colors and all that kind of stuff, what would be the main thing you tell them to take away from this video?
That you want everything to feel intentional. And so while you may like this crazy green color, that's great, but you need to pick other color. I mean, you need to make sure that it coordinates with the space. I think oftentimes, even if it's just in a room, people think like, oh, this is just a bedroom. It doesn't matter if it's a totally different color. You just want to keep the tones the same at least, so it doesn't completely stand out. Obviously, if you have kids and like, you know, that's their space, let them do it how they want. But if you really want on your main floor everything to feel cohesive, you want to plan it all at once, not piece by piece. Now you could paint the rooms over time, but having an actual plan that you're following versus just like shooting from the hip is really important. And then I also think that you should always do the thing you're a little afraid of. So play with color. It's just paint. At the end of the day, you always can change it. Yes, it's an investment, but it also isn't permanent. So push yourself in a direction, and I think you'd be happy that you're gonna feel more like yourself than the Pinterest picture that you found of someone else's home. So be true to you and the colors that make you happy.
I love it. Be true to yourself. Be true to your home.
Authenticity.
Yeah, true. Authenticity is king. Anything else for us?
No, my email is hello@lowinteriorsdetroit.com. Hit me up. Follow me on Instagram, low_interiors_Detroit. A lot of underscores. Sorry, that's Instagram. It's all they had available. And I live in Detroit, so I'm not a poser.
Yeah, authentic. Authenticity.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You don't have to go, but you do gotta get the hell out of here. So.
All right.
I'm just gonna.
I don't really have anywhere else to go for the day.
I don't have any time to put your shoes on.
I guess we'll
Okay.
head out of here, but maybe I could grab my wallet before we go. My
Doors
keys are
locked,
inside,
see
so.
ya.
Okay.